It's time for the Movin The Chains podcast. Your home for high school football coverage in the Palmetto State. Every team, every game, every week. And now your hosts, Kevin Thomas and John Epps.
Welcome in to Movin The Chains, brought to you by Founders Federal Credit Union. I'm Kevin Thomas alongside John Epps. Got Jerel Hendricks back on the board again today. Guys, we're here for our Week 0 South Carolina High School Football Preview Show. John, scrimmages are done. Jamborees are done. We've got real football this week.
Yeah, time for the rubber to meet the road, as they say.
Yeah, going to be a lot of fun. We had a lot of, great action last Friday and Saturday across Palmetto State. Some great matchups. Teams got to learn a lot about themselves. You'll find out throughout the show as we talk about some of these games that maybe I don't put too much stock into some of the jamborees and scrimmages, but we'll see how that shakes out. But will be a lot of fun. As always, we'll have our games of the week brought to you by CONA here in a minute. We'll have a full statewide breakdown from 5A down to 1A, including the SCISA ranks as well. Go through all that. As always, if you guys have questions about your team, thoughts about your team, feel free to chime in here. Let us know. We'll give us your thoughts as well. Love to get your feedback. If this is your first time, we really appreciate you. Check us out here on Facebook. Like, subscribe, share, tell your friends. We're also on Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and more at Movin Chains, MOVINCHAINS, movinchains.com as our website and our podcast on Apple, Spotify, Google, and more. Do a weekly preview show here on Tuesday nights about 7:15. So tune in for that each and every week. As always, get your Movin The Chains merch. We got great hats, some Richardson hats. We've got some great hoodies for the colder weather. Going to have some T-shirts here soon too, guys, so be on the lookout for that. Lots of great ways to support the boys, rep the boys, also the toboggans as well for when it's cold weather. So definitely get some of that. Will be a lot of fun. But, John, let's start off here with our CONA games of the week. We've got 4 great ones, also our SCISA game of the week. Let's start with a Low Country Midlands matchup. Oceanside Collegiate, the Land Sharks, Coach Wilkes' boys going up to the Midlands, taking on the Irmo Yellow Jackets. This is going to be an interesting game to me, John. Oceanside Collegiate, last year's 2A state champs. Irmo made it all the way to the lower state final in 4A. 2 teams that return a lot, 2 really good offensive coaches here. Does it worry you that you are still playing a couple class difference here from 3A to 5A? Or what do you think happens here in this ballgame between the 2 teams?
Yeah, I'm not worried about the classification at all. I think it's still going to take me a little while to, understand where everybody is in the classifications. I know, obviously, Irmo is the bigger school.
Yep.
The bigger program.
Up in 5A now.
Yep. 4 to 5A now. Probably a little bit more depth. I'm not worried about the classifications, though, because both of these teams are really, really good.
Yeah.
They're both well coached. They both have some good senior leadership on their team as well. Classification doesn't matter. And the more and more we've done this, the less and less I put emphasis on that.
Yeah, Oceanside Collegiate quarterback Aiden Manavian, the sophomore, is back. Last time we saw him, he was showing out in a state title game, helping them win that as a freshman last year. Playmakers Will Virgilio, Gavin Gaspar are both back on the outside there. 3 offensive linemen back for the Land Sharks as well. That's big there, John. Defensively, Sawyer Arnold, 14 sacks last year. Max Mormon back at linebacker, and Grayson Freeling, yes, Monroe's little brother, 4-year starter at safety, leads that defense there. On the flip side, Irmo, led by head coach Aaron Brand. Quarterback A.J. Brand, receiver Donovan Murph are just a deadly combo. Last year, Brand had 2,900 passing yards, 45 touchdowns through the air, 1,100 on the ground, 17 more touchdowns on the ground there. They have all 5 O-linemen back from last year, John. They're a big team. Defensive lineman Jaden Bryant, that's a sophomore there. That's a kid I really like. He's a stud there. 2 really good football teams, 2 teams that one good thing that does come out of, I guess, the way the South Carolina does their non-region matches where it doesn't really matter is you get some really fun games like this. This game is going to make both teams better in the long run. I think right now, just due to the size and physicality of Irmo, I'm going to lean their way a little bit because of the depth. I think the depth could be a big issue here. They get going downhill with Brand late in the game, and obviously what he can do with Murph. I think their offense is going to score some points there. They might lean on Oceanside a little bit. But I do think Landsharks can score some points. I think Monavian's going to light it up. He's going to hit Virgilio for a couple TDs. I think this will be a fun ball game, a tight, pretty tight ball game there. But I think Irmo at home gets the win in this one.
Yeah, I think so too. And, there's nothing against Oceanside. I think they are, again, you talk about that 3 offensive linemen coming back. I think they're going to be a very physical team too. I think both teams are going to try to lean on that offensive line and try to take that edge, try to control the game. Because whoever can control, I think if Oceanside's going to try to keep AJ Brand and that dynamic offense off the field as much as possible.
Yeah.
That's going to be a good game plan from the Sharks if they can do that. And how you do that? Run the ball and shorten the game.
Yeah.
And I know Irmo, hey, you got more depth. You're the bigger, you're probably maybe slightly more physical team. So what do you do there? You want to run the ball, wear them down a little bit. You get to the fourth quarter, and then you start maybe pushing those guys around. They're, you got a little bit less depth. I think the difference in this game, though, for me is AJ Brand and those 5 offensive linemen.
Yeah.
He is arguably the best player on the field. Looks like he's going to be at Virginia Tech next year. That's where he's committed.
As an athlete, not sure, what position, but as an athlete,
So, I mean, that's awesome to see that, see him play big-time football next year. But having that good of a player at quarterback coupled with 5 offensive linemen too, I mean, that's a really big deal. And it's going to be at W.C. Hawkins Stadium. That's another good game changer. Should be an awesome crowd out there. I know the other team in Irmo is pretty doggone good too, but a lot of excitement around this Irmo program this year.
One thing that I'm going to mention later on, another one of our games of the week that I want to bring up here as well, Oceanside Collegiate being from that Charleston Low Country area. A couple weeks ago, John, we had Tropical Storm Debbie roll through. And a lot of these programs in that area lost some practices. And maybe it's not a huge deal. Maybe it is. I don't know. Some of the guys that we talked to kind of through the Grand Strand, Low Country area that lost some said, hey, it does affect us. Because that was probably 2 or 3 days they weren't able to practice. I'm not sure what Oceanside's system was. Maybe they were able to. I don't know. But if you lose a few of those practices a couple weeks out from the season, that could be a factor, along with having a decently far trip there too in week 0. So it could play a factor there. I don't know. Should be a great ball game. 2 teams that we expect to be there Thanksgiving weekend, probably in their classes playing ball still. So a fun matchup to open the season. Jerel, any comments from the chat on this ball game here? Or just anybody we need to go ahead and shout out as we get into the next program or next ball game? Zach says, regular football is back. Let's go, on Big Red Machine ready for a deep run. Yeah, Dadrian, good to see you, man. Louisville, fun ball game this week. Cam says, Big ST, we in here. Let's go. Curtis, what's going on, man? Good to see you as always. Kevron, hey, guys. Yeah, we'll talk to Great Collegiate here in a second. Bradley, good to see you here as well, buddy. Ryan, appreciate you being in here, my man. Sean Thurman in the building. Yeah. Hey, they are ready for another roll. Appreciate you, boss man. Derek, what's going on, man? Patriots, fun ball games against Seneca. That'll be a fun one to talk about here in a little bit as well. Perfect. I don't know if you're muted or not. We can't hear you, Jerel, there. But we're going to move down to our second CONA game of the week. A fun matchup here, too, because you get another two different parts of the state here, John. You get Jerel Mann, the Patriots, heading down to Graniteville to take on the Midland Valley Mustangs. Two teams that made deep runs last year again. I believe both teams, were in the Upper State Final. I think Jerel Mann in 5A, Midland Valley in 4A there. Should be a fun ball game. Jerel Mann, head coach Scoot Watson, new running back LaDainian Martin comes over from Greer. Just committed to Georgia State a couple weeks ago. He's a really good player there. Receiver Keyshawn Henderson, Bruton and Whitner at DB, Wyatt Ward, all-state linebacker. But they are replacing the quarterback, John. I believe it's going to be McLeod Darnell. We'll see how that goes this week. But, replacing Ethan Anderson, a guy who had played a lot of football there for Coach Watson, tough to do. On the other side, Midland Valley, new head coach Brent Dorn, newly named a couple weeks ago. He is an alum. You got to like that there for the Mustangs. You lose Trayvon Dunbar, 3,000 yards rushing. That's hard to make it up. But the guy that coming back, Preston McNair, running back, he had 1,000 yards as a backup last year. So they were running all over everybody. Quarterback Preston Butler is back. 3 starters on the offensive line and back as well for the Mustangs. Defensively led by Andon Hawkins. I think he was one of the top tacklers in the state last year as well, John. This is going to be a really cool game for me. Jail Man, lose the quarterback. You lose McClellan out wide, but you got a lot of tools still there. You retool getting some new guys as well.
Get Martin.
Midland Valley, you lose a big piece with Dunbar, but you still get a lot of pieces coming back too. 2 teams I think that are set for deep runs as well. Who do you like in this ball game?
Yeah, I think these are 2 really good programs. I think some Midland Valley in 4A, Jail Man 5A program. I think both programs are going to do well in each classification. I think I said on our season preview show, I think Jail Man's going to really upset some people. I know they're preseason top 10. I get that. But I think they're going to hurt some people's feelings in upper state this year, around the state this year. Midland Valley is going to be really good. I like the Patriots in this ball game, though, because we talked about this last year, too. I don't think Dunbar got the praise. I know he did from us, but just from statewide, I don't know that Dunbar, and even from colleges, I was surprised more offers didn't come in for him than they did.
Yeah.
I think Midland Valley is going to be very good this year, but I think people that didn't realize it last year are going to realize how good Dunbar actually was.
Yeah.
They got a good running back to fill his shoes, but boy, they could really lean on him every single game last year. Remember? So they lost to West Side to get knocked out of the playoffs last year. That was the 68-53 track meet.
I think it was 8 touchdowns for Dunbar in that one, I believe it was there.
That's a lot to replace.
Yeah.
That's a lot to replace. JL Man, I think losing Anderson's a big deal. But I think gaining a running back, LaDainian Martin, is going to be a really, really big deal. I think that's going to help even out that loss of quarterback for Mann. And they were so good last year. They're well coached.
Yeah.
They're going to figure out that.
Had Dutch Fork on the ropes in that upper state title game.
Much,
very
much. Beat Hillcrest twice last year.
Yeah.
Very good Hillcrest team. JL Man's going to be very, very good this year. I think they win this game. I think it's going to be another very good competitive ball game. Probably a single-digit spread. Maybe I say spread, final score.
Yeah.
Probably I'd say a 7 to 10 point game.
I'm going to lean Jail Man as well. I think it's going to be closer than some folks think. I saw in the chat, people were saying Midland Valley by a ton, Jail Man by a ton. I think it's going to be a fairly close game. I worry a little bit about Midland Valley's passing offense. They didn't have to do it last year, so we just, didn't see much of it. Can they do that this year? Because Coach Watson is a defensive-minded guy. He will find a way to take away your strength. For Midland Valley, it's probably the run game. I think Coach Watson's going to make you throw it. Can Butler throw the ball? We don't know. We didn't see it much last year, so we just don't know. I like JL Man. Henderson is a stud playing both ways there, receiver, DB for them. Martin is a really good football player, a guy that's been making waves in the upstates for 2 or 3 years now. He was a youngster. I think JL Man wins a close one here. Jerel, any comments from the chat on this ball game or yourself as well? Jerel, is Jerel here? Do we lose Jerel? Do we lose the Jerel Hendricks on the board? There he goes.
Jerel's grabbing a snack.
Marie says Jail Man by a few tugs. Certainly could happen. Yes, I think we've seen a lot of those kind of predictions there. Midland Valley by 3 from Vincent. Yeah, that's more of a score line than I'm thinking. A tighter ball game. Rolling Midland Valley. Should be a fun matchup. Bulldog says, Jail Man about to hurt some Midland Valley fans. Hey, they certainly could, man. They're coming in with some talent. Bradley says they're a scary team. They certainly are, Bradley. You're exactly right.
This game is down in Midland Valley.
Down in Graniteville, yeah. Eric says dangerous passing attack. Yeah, interesting to see what they can do with the new quarterback. I know they got the weapons for him to throw it to. Can he get it to them is going to be the interesting part there. Let's look down now at our third CONA game of the week. Back to the Midlands here, John. But we're going to see a Low Country Midlands matchup again. And that's James Island, the Trojans, traveling up to take on Gray Collegiate, the War Eagles, in a 5A, 4A matchup there, John. James Island coming off a awesome season, 12-1 last year before falling in the playoffs. Gray Collegiate making it all the way to the state title before losing to Oceanside Collegiate there. What do you like in this ball game? Who do you lean here early in this one?
My initial thought is, and I tried to talk myself out of it earlier today because I'm like, I just don't know about that. I'm leaning Gray. James Island's been so good last few years. That defense has been great.
Lights out.
But, and this is another one where I throw out the classifications because Gray, I go back to Gray going to the reservation and nearly beating Gaffney a couple years ago. And I know it's not the same players, but it's the same program. I know Coach Holmes is not there, but the ingredients are well into that program to be very successful and to sustain success at a very high level, no matter the classification. I think this is going to be a really good ball game. I know some people may say this sounds a little crazy. I think Gray's a more well-rounded team here. I think they have got, they've got better talent across the entire football team, and I think it's going to be a really close game. But it's going to be one of those games that Gray pulls out late in the fourth quarter. From whether it be, the last game we saw them against Strom Thurmond, I felt like they won the game on special teams. On kickoffs, they were incredible defending and returning. They had a fumble recovery on a kickoff. They do all those little things that you have to do to win games like this against a team like James Island. And I think Gray makes a play or two there where James Island, maybe they don't.
James Island head coach Jamar McCoy lost a lot of talent from last year. Wishy Ravenel, Braxton Scott, the other Scott kid, a running back there. They do return running back Amore, Tank Scott, Jalen Brown Singleton is a weapon outside, a run back playmaker for them. Defensive line is really good. Dalton Woodall is a stud up front for them, along with White, Jefferson, and Baran. Really good kicker as well with Gray Dangerfield, one of the best in the state there. Quarterback, I believe, is going to be Zacoby Riley. Have not heard for sure on that, but I think that's who they're going with there for the Trojans. The Gray Collegiate side, new head coach D'Angelo Bryant, a guy you mentioned there, is coming up from Silver Bluff, a guy who's won a lot of football games, will do a great job there. Quarterback Tyler Waller, running back BJ Montgomery, receivers Quentin Stroman, Zoe Grant, Zion Job. What makes a difference for Gray Collegiate, especially at the lower levels, and now it's big, they're going to need it here, is that they are pretty big and deep up front, which you usually didn't see a lot of the 2A level. 4A, 5A, you're going to see more of that. And it's a good thing they've got it because they're going to need it. But they've got a big offensive line. Defensive line with Singleton and Taylor is really good. Linebacker Michael Bulware. Defensive back Aiden Legger. A lot of names you've heard and you know of because they return a lot from last year's team. They really do. I think that's why I'm going to lean Gray Collegiate as well, because they're going to be at home. Same thing as earlier. Long trip from James Island up to Columbia. Along with, did you miss any practices because of Debbie? I don't know. That could play a factor there. But I think just breaking in some new pieces for James Island and along the long road trip, I think Gray Collegiate wins a close one here. This could be maybe my favorite game on Friday night. I'll preface that. Friday night could be my favorite game on Friday night this week.
Yeah, and what would be wild if James Island, and they got a stacked schedule. They play Somerville and Fort Dorchester late in the year. It's possible if James Island drops this game, it could be the only game they drop in the regular season. I think there is a good chance of that. They're replacing a lot of pieces, but late in the year, they should be really clicking.
Yep.
But in this game, I like Gray by a little bit. Again, I think this is going to be a one-score ball game where, Gray gets a turnover late or, special teams play, something, a small play that turns out to be, or not a small play, but, something special teams related or, along those lines where it makes the difference in the game.
And it's one of those two where I think the location of the game plays a difference. Like I think if you're playing this game down at the backyard at James Island, I think you probably lean to the Trojans, but you're going up to Columbia, you're playing Gray Collegiate. I think the War Eagles get a win here. Jerel, any comments from the chat or from you on this one? I know we're having some mic issues with you here. Don't know if we got you back or not, but feel free to pop up whatever comments we have as well. Eric's BJ Montgomery a problem. Yeah, he's a problem for everybody. He's a great player. Chino says Coach Bryant kicks off with a big win against James Island. Yeah, I think so too. Zara, yeah, he's a stud, man. I think this is his breakout year. I think here as a junior. I think he's he's had some good games his sophomore and freshman year. I think this is the year he really takes the next step for the War Eagles.
He's in great position to do so. He's gotten a lot of playing time.
Yeah,
as a young kid. Now he'll be well suited to take on a larger role this year.
Yeah. Anything from you, Jerel? I'm gonna guess your mic's still out. 5, 4, 3, 2. Jerel's mic is still out. Okay, let's take a look now at our fourth CONA game of the week, John. And if you heard me there, Jerel, we got you? Nothing from Jerel. Okay.
He's still there.
If you heard me there, Jerel, John and Jerel, I guess, I mentioned that was my favorite game on Friday night because maybe my favorite game of the weekend might be this one right here. And that is the Barnwell Warhorses traveling to take on the Blackville-Hilda Fighting Hawks on Thursday night. This is a big-time 2A, 1A matchup here, John. I am super excited for this one. Barnwell, led by head coach Brian Smith, Quarterback Cam Austin, a South Carolina baseball commit, really good player there. You got Peoples and Sturkey as playmakers. The linebackers are really good with Edie, Thomas, and Zizit. Last year, John, at Barnwell, Blackville-Hilda won this ballgame, 36-34. Blackville-Hilda is really good again. Barnwell's really good again. Who do you like in this matchup?
I'd say, and this was a 36-34 ball game earlier in the year. I think maybe in the second game of the season last year. I think Barnwell's going to get this game just because I find it hard to believe anybody, no matter being it 1A or 2A, is going to beat Barnwell 2 years in a row.
That's a great point. That's a great program down there. Yeah.
That's my expert level analysis on the game. I just don't see Barnwell losing this kind of game 2 years in a row. But Blackville-Hilda has been so stinking good too. They're really good. It's going to be a really good game. As you mentioned, it's going to be at Blackville-Hilda. So that's going to make a difference as well. To not have to play at Barnwell is going to be a really big deal. Should be a really, really good ball game. And what a treat to have that game on Thursday night. I'm not sure how many Thursday night games we have, but to have that one alone is a really, really cool way to kickstart it off.
Blackville-Hilda, led by Coach Kevin Jones, has done a great job. 2 years ago, they were 2-8 on the season. Last year, they're the last public school team going in the upper state playoffs in 1A there. This year, they are, one of the top 2 or 3 teams in 1A probably sitting there, led by athlete Jaquel Holman, a South Carolina football commit. 1,600 yards last year, 26 touchdowns, and 76 tackled as well. A player I really like, plays DB, wide receiver, Namir Anderson. He's a stud there. Quarterback Samari Williams, a lot of experience. He's played quarterback for a couple of years now. He knows what he's doing there. The worry for me for Blackville-Hilda is the offensive line, a little bit undersized. They don't really have that, the big guys you're looking for up front. And you run into sometimes in 1A and 2A where you have classes where that just happens, where you just don't have the size up front. And that is a worry for them. They do a lot of pulling, and they're great at that. But just man on man, it's going to be a tough fight there for the Hawks. Defensively, Beard and Johnson are good players as well. 12 seniors at Blackville-Hilda that are really good players that really lead that team. Great leadership from them. But, John, this is a game where I think that both defenses are going to play really well. I think both defenses are going to be kind of ahead of the offense, which you see a lot early in the season, it feels like in general. Blackville-Hilda, I know, had a jamboree last Friday where they shut out a pretty good team, a pretty good 4A team. So that defense is looking good for them. Barnwell, year Turner coach Smith, I think they're going to be much improved as well. They're one of my favorites in 2A if you heard our show last week. I think this comes down to the end here. I'm going to lean with Cam Austin making one more play than Blackville-Hilda. I think the Barnwell wins a tight one. Maybe the same score as last year, just flip it. But this is going to be a fantastic ball game. I think Jerel and I are going to go to this game on Thursday night. So if you're down there, definitely say hello to us. Love to meet you guys. Should be a fantastic matchup down there. I'm going Barnwell in a close one.
Yeah, I agree. I think Barnwell wins this one. Wins a close game here. Should be another great game, though. Nothing leads me to believe that it's going to be any worse of a game than it was last year in that 36-34 thriller. Yeah.
Jerel, any comments from the chat on this one? I'm sure we got a few buzzing in there. Or Jerel, do you have any comments as well?
You guys got me now?
Yeah. We're
back.
Jerel,
let's go.
He is back.
I pulled it
from his bathroom break. Good to have you in here, man.
No, I pulled the John Epps. I was sitting in the lobby. I wasn't even in here. So I was in the shadows.
It happens sometimes.
So pull the John Epps. Hey, let's go all the way back. Give me Irmo, that brand Donovan Murph, combo. Love that.
Nasty.
JL man. They were so close to playing for a state title last year.
Yeah.
Great Collegiate. I think they're going to start off with the bang. And I'm going to go against you guys here. I think Blackville-Hilda pulls off the upset.
I like it.
Beats Barnwell there.
That is going to be a great atmosphere Thursday. Obviously it's a 1A school, so you don't have the biggest stadium. It's going to be packed to the gills, I think, Thursday night. I mean, that's got to be a great feeling for these kids. I know a couple programs around the state play on Thursday to open the season. I'm glad this is happening this week. That's going to be a lot of fun to really just give us a full kickoff for the high school league season here.
Maurice and Blackville.
By 3 touchdowns. Wow,
Okay.
Maurice. That's a heck of a prediction there.
Boy, this kid's going to have fun.
Michael says Fighting Hawks by 6. That will be fun as well. Eric says another close game. I think so too, man. I think it's close either way, Eric. Blackville-Hilda by 14. A lot of Fighting Hawks picks in here, John.
Y'all might know something I don't.
Yeah.
Yep. So that's all the comments we have on that game. Just so many other comments. If I don't get to you guys, I'm so sorry. We will address your teams. We are getting to it, but we are doing our CONA games of the week right now.
Yeah, let's roll through our final CONA game of the week here. Our SCISA game of the week, John, which is actually a cross association game here. And that's Christchurch, the Cavaliers going down to Columbia to play the Hammond Skyhawks. This is a really fun game. Hammond, I'll give them some props. They played some public school teams the last couple of years, and they played great Collegiate a couple of years ago. And they are trying to mix it up. And it's really cool to see early in the year. I enjoy that. Christchurch, back-to-back 1A state champs, now playing 3A football here in the high school league, led by head coach Quinn Hatfield. Quarterback Tucker Hendricks. Receiver is Jackson Rep and Jude Hall. Michael Martin, the freshman running back, is a kid to watch out for. He'll be a stud here in a couple of years. Defensively, Will Margee and Ford Glenn are back as well for them. Hammond, head coach John Weather, 7 straight state titles in the SCISA land there. Great program there the Skyhawks have. Quarterback Andrew Turner, running back Manny Johnson, wide receiver Croft. Tight end Mike Tyler committed to LSU over the weekend. So they've got talent there, the Hammond team does for sure. They lost a lot up front on both sides of the ball. Defensively led by linebackers Brewer, Lamotte, and Drew McCall. This will be a fun game here, John. I think I want to lean Christchurch. I think just what they're bringing back wants me to go with them a little bit. I think, Hendricks and I think Rep have a big game here. Interested to see the freshman running back, how he does in his first real test here. But I think Christchurch a little too much firepower. I think they win this ball game, but it should be a fun one down there in Columbia.
Yeah, I like Christchurch in this too. What gives me a little hesitation is Mike Tyler. I mean, that's going to be a big time problem to defend him. Mm-hmm. But hey, it's if you're Christchurch, you say, hey, we know that's your best player. We're not going to let you beat him. We're not going to let him beat us. And if they can do that, I think they win the game. Christchurch is, I know they've been 1A, but they have thrashed in 1A.
Yeah,
this is a really, really good program. They played a 5A Riverside last year. We're competitive against them. Mm-hmm. They're not scared of anybody. They'll play anybody.
Yeah.
I like Christchurch in this game as well.
Yeah, that'll be a fun one. Two really successful programs there with a lot of talent. But I lean in Christchurch here in a, I think it's close, but maybe it's not close, John. Honestly, maybe it's not. If you get, if Hendricks hits Rep for 2-3 touchdowns early on, maybe it gets out of hand. I don't know.
Yeah.
But Hammond always has great ball players down there. They're a really tough squad. They played Gaffney a couple years ago too, and I believe lost to Gaffney by maybe a touchdown. It was a fairly close ball game. So we'll see. I think this Hammond team is probably not quite as good as that team was a couple years ago, but maybe Coach Wheeler does some magic because he is very good at that. So any comments on that ball game, Jerel?
Just one.
Adrian says Christchurch could beat the brakes off of. Hey, certainly could happen, Adrian. They got the firepower to beat the brakes off of anybody, it feels like, really. Jerel, any comments from you on that one, or any comments we want to run through as a whole from across the chat that we've just seen here as we've gone on this first 25 minutes or so?
No, you guys did it well. Love that you guys got Will Margee out of the way. I know you guys talked about that, early in the I
got pronunciation guy right here. We're ready.
Yeah, I think Christchurch has too much firepower. Those guys are old too. They're used to winning. But Hammond, obviously, they're used to winning as well. So that's a terrible analysis there. But I think Christchurch is the better team, and I think they're going to win the game. But so many comments, man. It is so awesome to be back, and so awesome to see how people are excited to see y'all's beautiful faces. We'll just go through from the beginning.
Daniel used 2 quarterbacks. And I've heard there's Cleary, there's Turnip Seed. I don't know. Some folks I've asked have said that Turnip Seed's probably going to be the guy, but then they say Cleary is a stud, so maybe you can't keep him off the field. I don't know. I would assume early on you probably do play them both some, but I would, if you're Coach Frooster, you think that probably by region play you want to be settled on one guy at that point, but we'll see. Coach says, let's go Super Bowl. They did look good last week. They did. Not really surprised me. We just didn't know some of the names, but they did look good. Salute Tiger Nation. What's up, Rod? Good to have you in here. Go Swamp Foxes. Hey, they played Thursday night as well, Corey. They played Lakeview on Thursday. That'll be a fun matchup there.
Yeah.
Maine is deep and 2 good DBs. Yeah, Bruton and Whitner. They got both those guys there. You're exactly right there, Nathan.
I forgot about that, Nathan.
Coach Bryant, big win over James Island. That's what I'm predicting too, Chino. Yep, Cody. Best of luck to Coach Bryant there. Timberland's really fast on defense. Don't shoot down Lee Central. Yeah, okay. Timberland's a good team. Desmond Green up front, a big-time prospect. I think a Power 5 guy. I think he's a junior this year. He's a really good guy to watch. Yeah, exactly right. You're right there, Brian, for sure.
And the rest, we have some other games. We are going down the line now. We got those games of the week out of the way, so we will get to your teams.
Perfect. Once again, our CONA games of the week. We had Oceanside Collegiate at Irmo, JL Mann at Midland Valley, James Island at Gray Collegiate, Barnwell at Blackville-Hilda, and then Christchurch at Hammond. If you missed those, you can always go back and watch them once the show is over. We'll do a quick shout out to our friends of the program. Then we'll start at the 5A ranks and work our way down, John. Drill. play the music.
Need a new ride to get you to the big game? Founders Federal Credit Union has auto loan rates that'll get you in the driver's seat without breaking the bank. And here's the best part. No payment for up to 90 days. Drive to victory with a loan that suits your budget. Visit foundersfcu.com/auto today and score your dream car with an auto loan from Founders. Terms and conditions apply. Member qualification required.
The George Agency has been serving the insurance needs of South Carolina for over 40 years. They're a full-line insurance agency concentrated in employee benefits and health insurance with an office in Mullins and Murrells Inlet, but they can help you all across the state. They have clients in Greer, Rock Hill, Columbia, and more, so wherever you are, they can help. Give Bradley, Wayne, Richard, and the crew a call or check them out online at thegeorgeagency.net. That's thegeorgeagency.net. Okay, we are back. John, let's start now with the 5A ranks. We're going to work our way down, guys. As always, throw in your comments on this slate. Love to hear from you. But, John, let's look at this 5A games here. We'll give a couple comments as we come to them, but let's knock these out right away.
Yeah, and as always, we've got some cross-border games, some South Carolina, North Carolina, South Carolina, Georgia games. Starting in a little border war here, Fort Mill will go across the line and play Ballantyne Ridge. I've never heard of Ballantyne Ridge. Might be a new school.
Could be.
I know where Ballantyne is.
Yeah.
I've heard of Ballantyne Ridge. Ashley Ridge will go to Berkeley.
That's a fun matchup there. Berkeley, a lot of pieces returning. 2 receivers, Bash and Boone. Henry Rivers back at quarterback. Ashley Ridge, you got to replace Derek Sally Jr., but I've heard they might be better this year. We'll see. Quarterback Trevor Calise is back. It'll be a fun, I think it's an offensive shootout there down in the Low Country on Friday.
A really good offense last year, too.
Yeah.
Nation Ford will go to Blythewood. Greer will be at Boiling Springs. Boiling Springs had a really good season last year. Looking to see if they can continue that momentum. Got a good quarterback.
I know they're one of Jerel's sleepers. I agree with him. Lincoln Husky, really good player. They're slinging that ball. I think Chin as well at running back is back. They've got a chance to make some noise, I feel like, this season.
White Knoll will go to Zimp Stadium to play Camden. On here, it says that they're playing Saturday. Is that right?
I'm not sure. I've not confirmed that one.
Okay.
That's an interesting matchup. You know, White Knoll, Landon Sharp, one of my favorite players in the state, back at quarterback. Geronimi, the brothers there, both back. They're great players along with Tyon Fanning. Camden, you lose a ton. You lose Mayrounce, you lose Hickman, you lose Grayson White. You still got JoJo Krim back. You're replacing some other guys. You got Wyatt Thompson stepping in at quarterback. I think it takes Camden a couple weeks to get going. I think White Knoll wins this ball game.
I think we're going to see a different looking Camden offense this year.
Yeah.
I know they like where they're at offensively. They're confident and they feel good about it, but I agree with you. It might take a couple weeks. Don't think they're going to beat White Knoll here in week 0, but Camden will still be a good football team this year. We'll have
they are playing Saturday. Thank you, Quentin.
Okay.
Appreciate the
confirmation
there.
Hey, that's great. That's another fun game to get.
Yeah.
Hey, you can go to a game Friday and go to that Saturday. Carolina Forest, they will host West Brunswick out of North Carolina. Chapin will be at Catawba Ridge.
Interesting game there to me. I like Chapin. Brady Albro, quarterback's a good player back there for Coach Ryan Cole. Catawba Ridge, 1-9 last year, but I think they're going to be a lot better this year. We'll learn a lot about both those squads, I feel like, this Friday night.
Yeah, I think Catawba Ridge got to bounce back a little bit this year. Clover will host Chambers out of North Carolina. This is an interesting ball game here. Greenville now 5A. They will travel over to play Dorman in week 0. That's a big name matchup now. Ridgeview will go to Fairfield Central. Beaufort will be at Fort Dorchester.
Always a fun game between those two. Beaufort, what do they had this year? We'll see. I think they won 7 or 8 games last year, which is a step down for them from what they had in the past couple of years. Fort Dorchester bringing in a new quarterback there. Love the running back, Ryan Campbell. He's a stud. I think Fort Dorchester probably a little bit too much firepower at home there. But interested to see how Beaufort, what they come out with this Friday.
Yeah, if they've got if they can do a little something. I know they lost a lot on offense. They can do a little something. Or lost a lot on offense. What was that, 2 years ago?
Yep.
2 years ago. That could be a game. That could be a game. Northwestern will go to Huff. That's another North Carolina school. York will be at Indian Land. Hillcrest going to Lawrence.
Greg Porter now at Lawrence. Former Hillcrest head coach, won a state title there. Year 2 for Coach Swigert. The Rams, I think they win this ball game. I like what they're doing. I honestly think they win this game by a lot.
I think so too. But I am really curious to see how that Lawrence program will look under Porter.
Yeah, it's going to take a while.
We're not going to tell week 0.
It's a rebuild for sure.
It'll be a program to watch. We'll have Gilbert going to Lexington.
Gilbert, the smaller school, beat Lexington last year, early on in the year. Game one for Coach Ozzie Exume there. A lot of talent back. You got to replace your quarterbacks. You got Trayvon Williams back. You got Crew Morris back. You got Connor Gooding back. Lexington, we don't know a ton about them yet. They lost a lot too. Taden Mines is gone. Christian Sexton is gone. Year 2 for Coach Dustin. Dustin Curtis there. I think Gilbert might beat him 2 years in a row. But I don't know. It's going to be tough. It's going to be tough. You know what? I'm flipping that. Let's go Lexington. Lexington is at home, right?
Yes.
Wildcats at home.
I'm going to go Lexington as well. But there's just so many. There's so many unknowns for me in this game. I wouldn't be surprised if Gilbert wins this game, but I'm leaning Lexington here. Lugoff Elgin will be breaking in the Boulware era. They will be at Lower Richland Friday night. West Ashley will go to Lucy Beckham. Malden hosting Riverside. Lake City will be at Myrtle Beach. North Myrtle Beach will host Goose Creek. Easley will be at Pickens. Spring Valley goes to Richland Northeast. Nice little rivalry game there. Mm-hmm. Rock Hill will be at River Bluff. Wando goes to Socastee. Nice rivalry game. Really good rivalry game here. South Florence hosting West Florence.
This game usually ends the season, but now with them being in different classes, they got to play it first game of the season. I know there's some little bad blood the last couple weeks. Had some talk back and forth going on between Coach Jenneret's squad and Coach Marlowe's squad. We'll see how that shakes out. Terry Gordon, a great player there for West Florence. South Florence has tons of studs back. You lose a lot of pieces, but you got a lot of guys back. Amari Adams, of course. Lee asked about this ball game. Amari Adams on the defensive side. Offensively, you got all the running backs. You got Riley Jett, Zion Gilbert, Trey Leonard, Messiah Jackson. Got a lot of playing time last year. Didn't throw a whole lot, but he was the quarterback last year. I think South Florence at home wins this ball game.
I don't think this game's close.
Really?
I don't think it's close. I think this game, probably early third quarter, is going the Bruins' way. I think there's way too much talent on both sides of the ball for South Florence. And West Florence is a good team.
Yeah.
They're a bad team. But South Florence they're going to destroy a lot of people this year. And they're going to be able to do it offensively. And if someone shuts down their offense, they're going to be able to do it defensively.
Yeah.
And we've seen them do it the last couple of years too. Really, really great program Coach Marlowe has built there.
Yeah. I did say Terry Lowry, right? Terry Lowry?
Yes.
Okay, Terry Lowry, yeah. Keyshawn Washington, 2 guys I like a lot.
Now, this is an interesting game. This one stood out to me. Spartanburg going to South Point.
Yep.
Pretty big ball game there. Dennis, I tell you what, my initial gut says I think South Point, because South Point, again, there's a lot of unknowns. Mm-hmm. I'm willing to bet South Point has got more talent than Spartanburg. I think Spartanburg wins the game.
A really close game last year from a curriculum between these two teams there. Spartanburg, 2 quarterbacks, TJ Johnson, Trey Burke, not sure what they're going with there. Justin Rice, a really good receiver, a Super 75 guy for us. Great linebacking core, Cam Rich Smith. And I can't remember the guy's name, but Cameron Smith is kind of the leader there. Trenton Lynch at running back. Coach Hodges does a phenomenal job, as he always does there. South Point, the worry for me, though, is the quarterback spot right now. Cam McMillan transferred over. He's injured right now. They're going with Jazavian Currents, who plays a lot of DB. He's playing quarterback right now for them. See how that shakes out early on in the year. This game is at South Point, correct?
Yes.
Man, I'm going to lean South Point as well. I think the Stallions probably – you said Spartanburg.
I want Spartanburg.
Sorry. I'm going to lean South Point in this one. I think they really go ground and pound, just run it a ton, run it. I think it's a close game. I think South Point's defense, though, gives Spartanburg a lot of problems.
Okay. I can see that. I think this is going to be another close game. I think Spartanburg, and I love Coach Hodge. I think he does an incredible job, did an awesome job at Chapman when he was there. Mm-hmm. And I think he is soon. Spartanburg is going to be really, really good. Mason Hicks, forgot about Mason Hicks.
Yeah.
Good call, Dave. Yeah. Great player. Probably good chance he'll be the best player on the field in this ball game. Just when I see South Point play in person and I see it time and time again, there's inconsistency.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's within a game, sometimes it's within a season, but there's just some inconsistency. I think Spartanburg is going to be the more consistent team, and I think they're going to be good enough, well coached enough to be able to pull this one out.
Yeah, it just worries me. Last year Spartanburg had such a good defense. You beat Dutch Fork early on, whatnot. They just could not score the football. It felt like. Yeah. And I don't know if that's fixed. I hope it is. I don't know, but that's why I'm leaning to South Point, a close one here. But it should be a fantastic matchup.
Yeah, it'll be a great game.
We're only through 5A, and we got lots of great games all across the state. I mean, there's tons of great matchups.
Yeah.
The Berg by 7 says slick. Yep.
I like it. We got Eastside at Southside, little Greenville County game. Hilton Head Island will be at RB Stall. Somerville goes to Stratford. Lakewood at Sumter, little Sumter County rivalry game there. Burns goes to TL Hanna. That could be, and I know Burns has lost a lot, and it seems like there's a red arrow next to that program. They could really set the tone for the season with a win against TL Hanna and Anderson.
Yeah.
That would be a big time prop to them to get their season started.
New offensive coordinator as well. You should see how much that changes the way they move pieces around there. I like TL Hanna at home. I think that offense is tough to defend. I think they've got a little bit more, a few more known commodities, I would say, right now than what Burns has. But always a fun matchup. Then it says TL Hanna will destroy them.
It sounds crazy. To me, it sounds crazy to say somebody's going to destroy Burns, but it could happen. It could happen. We'll have Wade Hampton going to Travelers Rest. 2
new coaches there, Coach Wright and Coach Goodman getting after it. Fun game there in Greenville County.
AC Flora goes to Westwood, and around and get out. Conway will go to Wilson.
Actually, I saw today that game is flipped. It's at Conway now. Not sure the reason, but I saw they had to make a change. They're moving that ball game over to Conway.
Okay.
Yep. Any comments else on 5A? Jerel wanted to hit Bucky's by 24 West Lawrence. hey, South Lawrence, man, they love Bucky's. Wolves by 14 over the Stallions.
I think that's it for comments on 5A games.
Perfect. Let's look down to the 4A ranks now, John.
All right, with 4A, we've got Ainer going to Aiken. Whale Branch will be at Bluffton. Lancaster will be at Chester.
Interesting game there. A game that I feel like has been a lot of fun the last couple of years between those two. You know, I think Lancaster took one a couple of years ago. We had a lights issue. The lights turned out one time. Chester won a close one as well against them at one point. Had a big comeback, I feel like. Lancaster, the magical playoff run last year, winning 2 games in the playoffs after not winning anything, or winning 1 game all season long. Offensive lineman Kevin P. going to Georgia Tech. I like R.J. Brown was over there. He's a playmaker for them, for Coach Surratt. Interesting team to see there. And then Chester on the flip side of the team that we have heard a lot of good things this offseason about. You know, Trooper Hooper Floyd back at quarterback is a stud. Offensive line has been great. Running back has been great. Defense is always solid for Coach Floyd's squad there. That game's going to tell us a lot. I think it's going to tell us more about Lancaster than about Chester. I think we know Chester's good, but this will show us how good is Lancaster, I feel like.
Yeah. Chester's got I think the ceiling is very high for the Cyclones. You got to win this game, though.
Yeah.
You got to win this game to kick it off. Now, this is going to be a fun one here. Defending state champs, West Side, they're going to go into Georgia and play a Creekside program. If you keep up with college football recruiting, you hear Creekside a lot.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people that come out of Creekside High School. This is a larger school, and I had it just pulled up here. They are a 5A Georgia team. They went 13-2 last year. This is a big-time ball game for West Side to start this game off. We don't really know a whole lot about them because they're in Georgia. Who cares about them? This is going to be a really big game and probably a ton of D1 talent on the field on both sides.
Yeah, this is a Saturday matchup, part of the Turf Kings Invitational. There's a game before that. Leaves a Georgia North Carolina school playing before that, so that they will play the nightcap. Might try to go over to Anderson Saturday. We'll see how that shakes out there. But West Side, we know about the talent, man. Cutter Woods, Weaver, Bomar, Richardson. I mean, tons of talent at Livingston everywhere. They're going to be a tough team. I don't know a ton about Creekside, so I don't know how to predict this one. I really don't know what to say. But it's always fun to watch West Side. We'll say that.
Yeah. They're going to be a lot of fun to watch this year too. This could be a good game. We got Chapman going to Daniel, 2 really, really good programs.
Mm-hmm.
I know we got a difference in classifications here, but I think Chapman's going to be a little bit better than some people expect. Yeah. But Daniel, again, should be really, really good this year too.
Yeah, I think Daniel wins us by a few scores because I just don't know enough about Chapman yet. We just don't know who those new pieces are going to be. I think Daniel at home especially, I think they win some fairly easily.
We'll have Liberty going to Fountain Inn. I believe this is the first year Fountain Inn's got 12th graders.
Yes, first year seniors. Yep. Yeah, a program last year that was a game away from making the playoffs that didn't have seniors on the team. I mean, I think they've got a chance this year to be dangerous. Quarterback Sam Holliday is a good player for them. Liberty, though, had a surprisingly good – I think they won 7 games last year.
They were – I don't remember what the number was.
I think it was 7, yeah.
About Liberty, like, hey, they're doing pretty good.
They weren't bad. So it should be a fun matchup.
We'll have Colleton County going to Hampton County. My mic is trying to fly away here. We'll have Dreher going to Keenan. Darlington will be at Lamar.
That's a sneaky good football game there, I feel like.
This game is on our pick. I mean, I did my picks earlier today, and I flip-flopped a few times on this one.
Darlington quarterback Jalen Augustus, a really special player. Year 2 there for Coach Johnson. He is turning that program around. He's a great offensive mind for sure, so we know he can score points. Lamar with Coach Burris, year 2 for him as well. Tons of talent, a really good 1A program there. Zori Pierce, Zoom Jackson, those guys. That's going to be a great matchup. I think is it in Lamar or is it in Darlington?
I believe that game is.
Either way, it's going to be a fantastic matchup there. That's a good one to go to if you're in the area.
We'll have Crestwood at Manning. Could be a sneaky ball game there as well. Airport goes to May River. Emerald will be at 96. Powdersville going to Seneca. I know someone brought up that game or brought up Powdersville earlier.
Yeah.
I think Powdersville bounced back this year. I think they've
got for sure.
2 years ago, they had some really good luck. Last year, they had some really bad luck. I think they'll bounce back this year.
Elijah Huggins, Kagan Reed, Joshawn Knuckles, Javi Mills. I like that team. We talked to Coach Mustard last week. He's really excited about this group. Said, hey, last year we just caught a couple bad breaks and just kind of snowballed on us. I think this year they bounce back with a good season.
I think so too. We'll see Silver Bluff going to South Aiken.
That's a fun one always, it feels like, in those two. Javon Edwards, Juju Edwards there at South Aiken puts up huge numbers every single week. I think he does so again this week just because he's that good of a player. Silver Bluff, we'll find out more about them as we move along. Yeah, Coach Hayes got those boys ready. He likes Silver Bluff by a touchdown. I like that pick, Cody.
I like it.
South Aiken, it comes down to can they stop anybody? They've been able to score points with anybody the last couple of years. Defense could not get it done. Coach Hamilton taking over some more of the defense responsibility this year. I think you see an improvement there. It'll be a fantastic ball game.
Should be. We'll have North Augusta. They're going to go to Georgia. They're going to play Thompson High School. And we'll have Palmetto going to Wren. Wren was one of those teams that they had a really tough schedule last year. Were very competitive. I think Wren could be a really good team this year.
I think they're really sneaky. I wish they had stayed in 3A. I'd like them a lot more than going to 4A. But Colton Bagwell, Reese Price, Cam Sanders, lots of talent there. And then on the flip side, Palmetto, Coach Norton, year 2 for him. What can he instill in that program? It was a rebuild. It was. But he's got them heading in the right direction. Any other comments, Jerel, in the chat from 4A or from anything else so far before we look down to the 3A ranks? Aiken shocks Ainer says it certainly could happen. The thing with Ainer is they play a different style of offense. You don't see it a whole lot. See how that goes down there. Canada defense is great. Yeah, Maurice says him as well. Canada defense is top notch. Good call there, Cedric.
Loaded again.
Creekside by 17. Dadrian. So Dadrian, you're more dialed in than we are. Right. I don't know a ton about them, so it should be fun. Berkeley Ashford. Yeah, Preston, we talked about it a minute ago in the 5A. I think it's going to be a shootout. I think both teams are going to score a lot of points. Will be a really fun ball game down there.
I'm going to go Ashley Ridge in that game.
I'm leaning Berkeley.
Right.
Cody says North Augusta by 2. Once again, I don't know a ton about Thompson, so I don't know what to say there. I know usually a pretty good program from what I remember. Should be a fun ball game.
I know some D1 athletes who come out of Thompson.
Yeah. Camden, White Knoll. Yeah, we broke that one down earlier. I think we both leaned White Knoll here in that one.
All right, guys, let's keep rolling.
I did want to drill. Did you see the Tracy McGriff comment? I do want to mention that to Slick. If you see that, if you've got that, put that on the screen there. Best player Slick ever saw was Tracy McGriff in '89 at Lancaster. Love the stadium in the Hill. Tracy McGriff was a stud. If ran like a deer. Great player for Lancaster back in the day. And it is a really cool stadium. Lancaster Memorial Stadium is a really neat place. I grew up going to a lot of ball games there. A really cool place to see a game. And McGriff is an absolute star. If anybody who ever played or coached against him, they will tell you the same thing. He was a superstar back in the day. But let's look down now at 3A ranks there, John.
Starting off, and this is not a 3A game you hear, but we've got it this year. Southside Christian will go to Abbeville. Southside Christian, a 3A school. Abbeville now a 1A school. That's going to be a really good ball game down in Abbeville.
Two teams that have played each other maybe 2 or 3 years in a row now. And I like this matchup a lot. It's always a lot of fun. I think Abbeville, a little too much firepower. DeMarcus Leach, Lewis Haddon, those guys are really good. Southside Christian haven't quite found the level of success they had a couple years ago. They've fallen back, taking a step back, I would say. Do have some talent back for Coach Sonneborn this year. Jack Criswell, Christian Kaiser as well. But I think Abbeville down at Heights Stadium wins this one.
I think so too. They'll have a great crowd out there for that one too. As people have talked about, Ainer at Aiken. Hilton Head Christian will go to Battery Creek.
Another cool thing you see early in the year is you get some SCISA High School League cross matchups there, and that's another fun one. I think Hilton Head Christian, I don't know. I don't know enough about Battery Creek to make that call.
We'll see. This game I'm probably going to go to on Friday night. Belton Honeypath hosting Broome. We talked about the media poll in our season preview.
Mm-hmm.
This is the only top 10 matchup within a one classification. So this is going to be a pretty good game. Hopefully a pretty good game here.
Yeah. Courtney says, don't forget about the barriers. Yeah. Marquise Henderson, one of the better players in the state, the Clemson commit at running back as an electric playmaker, get the ball, kept receiving it, running it, whatever. He's a stud. Do have to replace a few pieces around him. I think BHP wins this ball game.
It was cool. Got to meet Courtney last year at that Upper State Championship game. Such a heartbreaker for those BHP fans. I think I don't think Courtney's the only one who's been thinking about that game all summer, and I think they're going to use that as motivation.
Yeah, I'm sure Coach Blackson's got that somewhere up on the board in the workout room, I'm sure.
Down in the Low Country, we'll have Waccamaw going to Carvers Bay. We'll have Woodruff at Clinton.
I'll talk about both those games for a second. Waccamaw, Carvers Bay. Carvers Bay is a team I've got my eye on to possibly make some noise in 1A this year. Had a really down year last year. We'll see what happens there. And then Woodruff Clinton, an old school rivalry there. Two hard-nosed fan bases football teams. Coach Sloan in year 2 for Woodruff there. Coach Fountain has done a fantastic job at Clinton there. I think the Red Devils on the road, I think they win this ballgame. I like the quarterback. I like Sharp Richardson a ton there for them. We'll find out more about Woodruff after this week, but I think Clinton wins this ballgame.
I think so too. And hey, this will be the healthiest they've been in a long time.
Yeah.
0. I think the Red Devils win this one too. Woodruff, though, could be a good season for them.
Yeah.
They had some momentum last year as well. We'll see Saluda going to Crescent. Dillon will host Scotland out of North Carolina.
Yeah, Dillon still breaking in the new quarterback, Ramon Chandler. They had a really good showing in the Jamboree last Friday. I think Dillon, if they can just make sure they get that quarterback spot settled, they're going to be a dangerous team. Anthony Berry takes Scotland. See, I don't know a ton about Scotland. That's the thing is I don't follow the guys outside of our state a ton, so I don't know much about Scotland. So I'm kind of trusting you there, Anthony. I don't know much about them.
Yeah, I don't know if that's a much bigger school or not. I know I believe it's the whole county. I think it's Scotland County. The whole county. But granted, Dillon outside of Latta.
Yeah.
There.
Also, apologies, Clinton at home. Yeah, sorry about that, Zach. I don't know why I said on the radio. Yeah, Clinton at home.
One of our pick'em games of the week, Philip Simmons at Hanahan. It's going to be a good game. This is another one I had a tough time picking as well.
Same. Both teams lost a ton on the ground. You lose Kayvon Rivera there at Hanahan. Philip Simmons, I believe, lost their top 2 backs, Asbury, and I want to say maybe it's Richardson. I can't remember the guy. Maybe Williams. They lost Asbury and the other guy. Oriana's back at quarterback for them. I like that. Hippen's still back at Hanahan along with Drew Goldsmith out wide. I think Hanahan wins a close one here. That could be maybe one of the better games down in the Low Country this weekend.
Certainly could be. Georgetown will be at King Street. Marlboro County will go to Lake Marion.
Game 1 for Coach Corey Johnson there. I think he starts off with a win for the Bulldogs. Big win, probably.
Yeah, it would be. Walhalla will go to Landrum. Then we'll see Swansea at Mid-Carolina. This game is an interesting one. You may never have heard either of these names, but Atlantic Collegiate will be at Mountain View Prep.
Yep.
Mountain View Prep, one of the new school in Spartanburg County. I think they're going to be really good.
Atlantic Collegiate's first year playing varsity football. MVP's first year playing any kind of football. It is varsity there. Actually playing this game at Presbyterian College as well. It's Saturday. Cool. I want to say 6:30 on Saturday. I've heard a lot about MVP. I know a lot of their players, McGill, Drummond, Hainsworth, yada, yada, yada. I don't know much of anything about Atlantic Collegiate, which is a little odd, I feel like. I think MVP wins this ball game and gets off to the Coach Gray Ramsey era 1-0.
Yeah, they're going to be a fun team to watch this year. We'll see Union going to Newberry. Orangeburg Wilkinson will be hosting, I believe it's a private school, Anderson Cavaliers.
I believe so, but not a SCISA private school. I think just some other kind of.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I don't know if that's Anderson Christian or not.
Mm-hmm.
Chesney will be at Pendleton. We'll see Cardinal Newman going to St. Joseph's.
Mm-hmm.
So Cardinal Newman, a good SCISA school. But again, we have cross SCISA.
Yep.
South Carolina High School League matching up in that ball game. West Oak will host Thornwell. I believe that's a charter school. Am I right?
I believe Thornwell is not playing football this year, so I think that game is off the schedule.
All right, never mind.
Yeah.
And then we have our little bit of a game of the week we have here, Kev.
Yeah, HTC Hometown Connection game. That's Green Sea Floyd's traveling to Loris, take on the Lions. A fun Horry County game there. Green Sea Floyd's year 2 with Coach Patrick Martin. A lot of pieces to replace here. He's got a very, very young football team. Freshman Jack Shelley playing quarterback there. Thomas Gunnels will also get some time for them. Running back Judah Lee. Running back DT Isaac Hewitt. On the Lower side, you guys heard me talk last week how high I am on Lower. I think the Lions are going to be a very good team for Coach Mann there. Can't wait to see that region get rolling. Quarterback Moon Jerel, an athletic dual threat. Wide receiver Jacobian Lewis. He's 6'3", a big target out wide. Also, Quantez Dyson, Zamir Herring can stretch the field there. 3 offensive linemen are back. 7 starters back on defense. Defensive linemen Javon Johnson and Demaria Thurman are 2 great players there. A fun game in Horry County for us. I like Loris. I think it's probably not that close, honestly, John. I like the Lions a lot in our HTC hometown connection game this week.
Yeah, and, the only thing is Loris has got all this Kevin Thomas pressure on them now to perform this season. Let's see if
the jinx.
Let's see if they can get done in week 0. I believe in them as well.
Yeah, as you see there, HTC, this is live. Connect with it. Check them out. I have a cool graphic tomorrow for that ball game there. And our HTC game each week is going to be a game that involves a team from either Georgetown, Marion, or Horry County. So be on the lookout for that. Send us your nominees if you want to as well. Jerel, any comments on 3A from you? Any comments on any class from you or from the chat? Any comments on our HTC game? Feel free to hop in with whatever you want. MVP by a landslide. I agree with you there, Dadrian. I think so too.
We'll probably say that a lot this year, Dadrian.
Dylan's going to surprise people this year. They're not worried at the quarterback. Malik, hey,
that's a good point.
I'm looking forward to it. Looking forward to it. Courtney has y'all to the Bears down. I think John's definitely going. We'll see besides that. Yeah.
Let's see. I think that's it for 3A comments. But yeah, that Loris Greensea game. So happy to have HTC on board with us this year. But I'm leaning with you, Kev. I think it's going to be not very close. Loris is just too strong, man. I was looking through the previews for that particular team, and they're stacked in all 3 phases. I know Coach Mann is really excited about that team, and Greensea I feel like it's in a little bit of a rebuild right now. They're trying to get going. And you don't want to be breaking in a freshman quarterback against a team of Loris's caliber. So could be a rough start for Greensea, but hopefully they build on what they were working on last season.
It's called a learning experience that builds character.
There you go. Well, Drew, let's get a shout out to some of my friends of the program. We'll look down to the 2A, 1A, and SCISA ranks.
At HTC, we're here to keep you connected. Here to provide reliable fiber optic internet. With free, fast, and secure HTC Smart Wi-Fi. HTC, here to connect.
Put Founders in the game and win big with our great rates. Whether you're looking for a loan or want to grow your money with a certificate, Founders Federal Credit Union can help you move the chains on your financial goals. Not a member? No problem. Visit foundersfcu.com to see if you qualify. Federally insured by NCUA. Membership qualification required. Equal housing lender. Terms and conditions apply.
John, let's look down to the 2A ranks now.
Starting with Bamberg Earhart, they get their season started hosting Edisto. Ware Shoals will go to Blacksburg. We'll see Beaufort hosting the South Carolina Spartans. I'm not sure what that school is.
Not a high school league school, not a SCISA school. I don't.
Somewhere here. I don't think it's USC Upstate.
No, I hope not. They don't play football either.
Could be a tough game. Well, maybe they do now. We'll see Cross at Burke.
Big Cross.
McVie will go to Sherall. We've talked big about Sherall.
Yeah.
So what the Braves can do this year.
Yeah. Interesting to see how they come out early. Didn't have a great showing score-wise at Jamboree last week. Still think they have a great football team.
Well, this is a good Columbia game. C.A. Johnson at Columbia.
Yeah.
We'll see. Skipping down, a lot of these are repeats, so don't want to repeat for you. Chesterfield will be at Johnsonville.
Fun game there. Year 1 for Coach Matt Quinn, bringing in his system there to the Rams. Johnsonville back-to-back lower state titles. But you replace a lot there at Johnsonville. You really do. But Coach Cribb, it's just a machine there at this point. You feel like it should be a fun matchup there, I think, between the Rams and the Flashes.
Yeah. We'll see Marion at Lakeview. Good PD game
Thursday night matchup there, too.
Timberland will be at Lee Central. I know I had some comments on that game earlier. We believe Timberland in that one. Central will be at Louisville. I believe most schools bringing in a new head coach.
Yes. So Coach Trent Usher at Louisville, actually a Central alum.
Right.
Coach Jonathan Easton at Central, also a Central alum. They played together, I believe. Funny story, this game was going to be at Louisville, and then they moved it to Central Pageland. And now they're moving it to Buford. Yeah, on Thursday. Yeah, so Daydream's all over. I believe Pageland had some army worms eat up their field, which are dangerous because I had some in my backyard the other day. I had to put stuff out for, so hopefully my yard doesn't get that bad. But just a wild ride there for them moving this game around. Now at Buford on a Thursday. Sorry for Coach Eason in year one, game one. I think Coach Usher and the Lions roll.
Okay. I know they've lost some talent, but still a really good program. See how it is. It's going to be a away game for both teams, I guess. Hear you, Daydream.
Usher. Yeah, he is a legend. You're right. State title right there.
Yeah. We'll see. Strom Thurmond goes to McCormick.
The Rebels, I mean, they reloaded. You got a lot of new faces there, but they still got talent. Strom Thurmond by 50 says Maurice. That's going to be a fun ball game. McCormick has had some up and down years the last couple of years. I don't think they're super talented this year. I think Strom Thurmond wins by a lot. Coach Webb has the boys rolling. That's a program now. I think they're going to be there for a long time.
Yeah. Now it's good to see them good again.
Yep.
We'll see Swansea at Mid Carolina.
Game one for Coach Fox. It's Swansea there. Can he get a win in week 0? I think he does.
We'll see Military Magnet hosting Academic Magnet. Hemingway will be at Mullins.
I think Mullins gets their first win in 2 seasons.
Ooh.
I think they beat Hemingway.
Okay. All right. That'll be nuts. 1-0 to start the year be a big deal. Emerald will go to 96. Great Falls goes to North Central.
Game one for Savell Newton. See how that shakes out. Interesting to see, what he has instilled into the program, how much new, talent, new players he's gotten to come out and play for them. We have a fun team to follow this season, I feel like.
North Central's been competitive.
Yeah, Coach Sisk down there does a good job.
Yeah. We'll see American Leadership. They will play a road game against PAC. I don't know who that is.
I don't know either. I think it's Providence Athletic. I think I saw that. I think they're out of Georgia, North Carolina. I don't know. Year one of varsity football for Coach Bacon there with American Leadership. We'll see how that game goes. I don't know anything about PAC. Never heard of the guys.
We'll see what happens Friday. Chesney will go to Pendleton. East Clarendon is at Scotch Branch. And to round out 2A, Pelion will go to Williston Elko.
Perfect. Any other 2A comments there, Joe? If we look down at the 1A slate. Don't sleep on McCormick, says Terrell. Hey,
all right.
They could be better than I think, for sure. I know they've had the Durants come through there. They've had a lot of really good talent the last few years. We'll see what happens this season for sure. North Central by 21, says Adrian. Okay. You're probably more tuned into that than we are, so I trust you on that.
That's all I got here. I'm just disappointed in you guys not having any commentary on the Military Magnet, Academic Magnet game.
Magnet Bowl.
Just going to leave it at that.
I believe Academic Magnet had a good season last year.
I believe you. That was my memory gets worse and worse, and that was a long time ago.
Let's look down at 1A now, John.
We'll see Hardyville go to Bethune-Bowman.
I believe this is the first game back is Hardyville as a split school from it was original Hardyville for years. They have now split again. I believe this is the first year of that.
Okay, because it was originally in Hardyville, right?
Yes, correct. Okay.
Ware Shoals will be at Blacksburg. Walkamaw at Carvers Bay. We'll see Ridge Spring Minetta going to Dixie. Latta will go across the state line. They will go to East Columbus to play their first game. Calhoun Falls goes to Greenwood Christian. Hannah Pamplico hosting Heathwood Hall, another cross game there as well.
A fun matchup. I really like Hannah Pamplico. That offense with Poston and Williams are really talented players there for them. Heathwood Hall, game one for Coach Tymer Zimmerman. A lot of talent back for them. Patrick Bell at quarterback there. Onus Conanbanny, a defensive back stub that plays some receiver too for them. Really a fun matchup. I think Hannah Pamplico, I like the run game with Williams a little bit. I think they win this ball game.
We'll see Allendale Fairfax going to Hunter Kenner Tyler.
Yeah, HKT. I've heard a lot of talk about them in the last couple weeks. A lot of folks are saying, hey, we don't talk about that HKT, John. We got to get on that. Get on that.
Right.
I think they win this ball game. HKT is a team that just like a lot of these 1A programs, you have up years, you have down years. It's hard to build consistency because you just don't know what you're going to have come through the halls those years. I think they do win this ball game at home.
I'm going to go Allendale Fairfax.
Okay, I like it.
We'll see Timberland going to Lee Central.
Mm-hmm.
We'll have Hemingway at Mullins, East Clarendon at Scotch Branch, Denmark Olar at Wagner Sally.
Now, that's a fun game there. I like that one. The Vikings and the War Eagles getting after it. Game one for Coach Gillespie there for Wagner Sally. kind of bringing in some new offensive styles there. Denmark Olar has had a lot of talent last couple of years. Just hadn't been able to put together a full season, you feel like. That's going to be a really fun 1A ball game on Friday.
Yeah, and even though Denmark Olar has been another program where nobody can sleep on. They'll come up and bite you. They've had some big games the last couple of years, big wins, I should say. And then to round out 1A in the week 0 slate will be Branchville at Whitmire.
Yeah, and 1A, of course, guys, we had a lot of games we've already mentioned, like a Darlington Lamar, a Chesterfield, Johnsonville, Marion, Lakeview, which we mentioned those earlier on.
Southside Christian, Abbeville.
Going to be a really fun 1A slate here in week 0 for sure. Any comments, Sarah Jerel, on the 1A before we look down at the SCISA? Put on as a freshman quarterback. I believe that's Jace Grass. Is that correct wise guy there?
Okay.
Abijah Webb out wide as a stud receiver. They'll be a fun. They put up a ton of points lately for sure. Pendleton has.
Yeah, they had great offense last year.
Terrence says Denmark Ola over Wagner. Hey, they've got some talent. Nathan says refer to 1A as the runner-up division all year.
Well,
well,
that could be.
There are a lot of good teams in 1A. Nathan, we'll see how it shakes out, but it's hard not to have Abbeville as the favorite right now. I think everybody would agree with that. Anything else, Jerel?
Denmark making a nice playoff run. I could see that.
Yeah.
All right. We'll remember.
Perfect.
That is all I have. I did want to give you guys some updates. The running back you were thinking about at Phillip Simmons, Sherrod Williams, also a 1,000-yard rusher last year.
Yes.
And then Onus Conanbanny. I hope I said that right. I've struggled every time.
We're working on it.
He's making a commitment on Friday. I think he's between Tennessee and Florida State, so that'll be huge for that program.
I'm interested how the timing works out. Is it going to be like, at school at lunch and you get up and go play the ball game afterwards? Like, what's going to happen there?
Halftime.
Not really sure.
On the field.
Yeah, another 1A game, obviously, Blackville-Hilda Barnwell, one of our CONA games of the week. We broke that one down earlier on in the show. That'll be a fantastic matchup on Thursday night that I believe we will be at. Let's take a quick look here at the SCISA ranks, John. We got Jefferson Davis playing cross. We mentioned Heathwood Hall, Hannah Pampico, of course. We've got Calhoun Falls Charter, Greenwood Christian mentioned that one as well. Dorchester Academy, Andrew Jackson Academy, Northwood Academy, Pinewood Prep, Lawrence Academy, Newberry Academy, Patrick Henry and Academic Magnet. Oh, excuse me, that's not correct there. Northside Christian, Calhoun Academy, Orangeburg Prep, Wilson Hall, Lee Academy against Christian Academy, Orangeburg Prep and Wilson Hall again. Somebody needs to update these scores here because we're all over the place. We got Williamsburg, Thomas Sumter, Dillon Christian, Florence Christian, Porter Goud, First Baptist, Clarendon Hall, Spartanburg Christian, Richard Wynn, Oakbrook Prep, Bethesda, Thomas Hayward, Carolina Academy, Faith Christian, St. Andrews, Hilton Head Prep. A couple notes here on some of the SCISA ball games, John. Lawrence Academy and Newberry Academy, they're playing at Newberry College this weekend. That'll be a fun matchup there. Lawrence Academy, big win over Cambridge last week. Spires McCameron, 2 touchdowns. They've got a good rushing attack with McCameron, Hardy, and Murphy. Good team there. The Lawrence Academy squad is. Richard Wynn at Oakbrook Prep. They lost 6 seniors last year. Richard Wynn did, including Drew Spires, a guy that was our player of the week. Had a huge year for them. Probably be more run focused this year. We'll see how that shakes out for him. Oakbrook Prep, first game for head coach Chad Deal there, former Clemson and Burns standout. Interesting to see what he can do there. We know they'll be probably, if they're like Coach Deal, they'll be disciplined and tough. So we'll see how that shakes out there. Northwood at Pinewood Prep. Northwood Academy already 2-0. SCISA can play earlier. They're already 2-0 this year, but they do take a step up in competition this week. Pinewood Prep 1-0. Asa Wyndham looked good last week. Receiver Stallworth and Alexander. Running back Jeremiah Singleton. Linebacker Connor White. Defensive lineman JT King is a really good player there for Coach Holloman's squad. That'll be a fantastic SCISA matchup down there in the Low Country. We got Trinity at PD. Have not played in a couple years because of different classes. They're a little bit closer this year. They play over at PD. Trinity Collegiate offensive line should be a strength. James Herbert's a good player. Young quarterback Cade Amell, I believe, will be a freshman, or maybe he's an 8th grader. I can't remember what years. He is a super young quarterback, but a good player for them. PD, quarterback Colby Richardson, running back Tristan Heckman, receivers Trussell and Rogers. O-line should be good as well. All those guys play defense, as you see a lot of these lower levels, along with Martin and Small, who are key pieces too. This will be a really fun game in the trenches, I feel like. Both teams have a lot of returning guys up front on both sides of the ball. That'll be fun. Interesting to see what Coach Davis does with the Eagles defense there going up against a young quarterback. Do you blitz him? Do you sit back? What do you do? I'm sure he'll have something good cooked up there. This will be a really cool, interesting non-region matchup. I think it makes both teams better down the line. Will be a fun one there over at the lawn. And then Orangeburg Prep at Wilson Hall. Orangeburg Prep year 2 for Don Shelley. Hart Wiles leads that group on offensive line, defensive line, 49 tackles, 6 sacks last year. I mentioned Tilden Riley last week at ECU offer already. He's a tight end type player there for them. Wilson Hall head coach Adam Jarecki last year, linebacker Jackson Bonzer, 102 tackles, 8 tackles for loss. Really good player for that one there. Any comments on SCISA from you guys or any thoughts or certain games you want me to ask about What do we got here? Terrell says Lawrence Academy over Newberry. I think so, too. I think you're right about that one.
That is all the SCISA comments we have. SCISA people, I mean, they're already in season, but not in mid-season form in the comments yet.
You know, maybe next week we flip. We'll go SCISA first and we work our way down to 5A. I know it's a long time to hang out. I feel sorry for you guys, but I appreciate you guys watching us. That means a lot for sure for this long. But, Jerel, let's friends of the program right quick, and then we'll kind of go through the last part of the show here.
Preferred Home Services. How can we make you smile today? Preferred Home Services. For electrical or plumbing, cooling too. Go, 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 Preferred.
Carolina Orthopedic and Neurosurgical Associates, CONA, offers the most advanced training and experience in orthopedic surgery, neurosurgery, sports medicine, and pain management in the upstate. 3 convenient locations in Spartanburg, Duncan, and Greenville. Go to kona.care to learn more.
Ready to find your home field advantage? At Founders Federal Credit Union, we offer competitive rates to tackle buying a dream home with ease. Our team will coach you through every step. Plus, we never charge private mortgage insurance. Don't fumble your chance at home ownership. Start your journey with Founders. Visit foundersfcu.com/mortgage today. Terms and conditions apply. Member qualification required. Equal housing lender. Institution NMLS. Identifier number 41064.
Man, this has been a fun week 0 show, guys. You know, we'll be back next Tuesday about 7:15 doing the same thing for week 1. Will be a lot of fun. And we'll have more content next week. We'll have our teams of the week brought to you by Preferred Home Services. We'll have our players of the week from the Georgia Agency, our Pick'em. We'll have some scores from that brought to you by Hand Engineering. If you haven't done the Pick'em yet, get in on that. It's on our social pages. It's on our website. Go join that. It's a lot of fun to do. Definitely be a part of that. As always, guys, appreciate you tuning in. Like, share, comment, subscribe, tell your friends. Help us grow this thing, please. Definitely like and share the pages, not just the post, the whole page on all of our platforms, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and more at Movin Chains, movinchains.com. Podcast on Spotify, Apple, wherever you get your podcast. We're everywhere. Movin the Chains, brought to you by Founders Federal Credit Union. As always, get your merch. We got hats. We got toboggans. We got hoodies. We got a lot of really good stuff. It's all posted on our social pages as well. Go check that out. Get some merch. Support the boys. Help us make this bigger and better and go to more games. It'll be a lot of fun. John, any final thoughts from you? Final notes from you, Jerel, as well? Anything else you guys want to hit on before we kind of wrap up here for the week?
Yeah, I just wanted to mention that West Side, Creekside, Georgia game. We talked about Creekside being a really good program. Creekside, they also have a 4-star wide receiver, 12th grader on their team. He's gotten a ton of offers, gotten an offer from the Gamecocks. South Carolina, not in his top 5, but fact remains, there's going to be a lot of athletes on that football field. Could be a lot of points, too.
Yeah, that'll be fun. Anything from you, Jerel? Final comments here.
Oh, just want to steal one of John's famous lines. Toe meets leather this week, man.
Hey.
Toe meets leather. Pretty excited about that. Getting started. Got games Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, so that's pretty exciting. There's no excuse not to head out to a football game this weekend. No college, no pros. It's
great weather, too.
Great
weather.
Fall like
wood. Knock on wood. But yeah, should be great weather across the state. So no excuse to not get out and support your local, high school, and help them raise some money and show out for the community there.
Yeah, will be a lot of fun for sure. As always, if you missed part of the show, it will live on our social pages on YouTube afterwards. You can go back and watch it. Our CONA games of the week at the beginning had 5 great ball games there, all the way 5A down through SCISA. Definitely go check that out. And hopefully you guys tune in next week. We're just getting going here. We had a lot of viewers. The number looked great to see. Really cool. So hopefully we keep getting bigger and bigger. Definitely tune in again next week. We'll have our recap show come out this weekend. Like I mentioned, we've got our pick'em going. We'll have a bunch of other stuff coming out, along with some other interviews we've had with coaches that have just been kind of sitting on the computer and need to post. So I'll get those out there for you guys too. But for Jerel Hendricks on the board, for John Epps, I'm Kevin Thomas. This has been our week 0 preview show here on Movin the Chains. And we will talk to you guys next week.
Get ready for the ultimate South Carolina high school football experience with Movin the Chains. From previews to recaps, we've got you covered. Dive into our expert preview shows, predicting winners and sharing insights. Then join us post-game for the thrilling recaps, exclusive interviews, and highlights you won't find anywhere else. Plus, connect with fellow fans on our Friday night spaces on Twitter/X. No one covers South Carolina high school football like us. Join us at Movin Chains on all social media platforms and visit movinchains.com today.
Whew.